Hello, welcome to this update to Hair Strand Designer. This is version 1.2861, and in this version I've cleaned up a few of the little bugs and things to do with the generator, and I've also added this ability to load up your own UV image. So I'm just going to switch over to 3D Coat, and you'll see this is a set that I'd made a while back, a little wig, and just to demonstrate some of the strands that could be generated. You can see I've not used up all of the strips that I'd initially created because I think I just got carried away making loads of strands with existing ones, and I got good enough results to carry on. So what I'm going to do is just take this UV, and I've took it into Photoshop here, and I've made the wires black and the background white. Now you can very well make the background see-through if you want, but there's no big deal. So I'm just going to duplicate the wireframe a couple of times just to make it a little bit thicker. You can also do an effects, do some stroke on that to make it thicker. I'll do 1 pixel. Alright, so that's good enough, and I'm just going to export this. You can also make it a smaller size if you want. It does get rescaled. 2048 is probably ideal. It does get rescaled to 1024 on the fly, so I'll just do UV PNG. It's got to be a PNG file. UV test. Okay, so you should be able to load this in by left clicking. UV test. And there you go, there's the original layout here, and you can see how the previewer looks over and above that. So you could go ahead and start moving your strands around, and you can see you can use the influence and offsets to get things positioned a bit better. So I'll go ahead and try and make up a decent set. Obviously I don't need a set here, so I could reduce the counts. Let's do 1 and 1. Just if I want flyaways here. I can even sort of bring them over. And that one I could move to there. Let's increase the number of strands. Let's just move things around a bit more. You can see the distance, the strand's going a bit further, so I'll have to reduce the distance. I can add a little bit of variation to get a few of them jumping up and down a bit. That one I'll keep there. This one I'll move over. It looks like that one needs a flyaway, so I'll just take the reduction right down. And I could change the spacing a bit. I'll make the influence not have an effect on some of these, although spacing does have an effect on everything. So I think what I'll do is I'll put the spacing back, and this being last set here, I can change the number of strands. I'll just change that to 1. That can be its own little flyaway. Now the previewer might look different from the final render, so it's a good idea to generate and just check everything's okay. Just move another little bit. Okay, you can change the opacity of this as well if you want. If it's too bright, and just darken it down. You can kind of see the background tone here. Right, so I'll do a color map, and then I'll generate. You can see how that looks, but if you want to see how the UV is looking again, just hold the right mouse button down over, because you can see now with the generate it's a little bit different. The algorithm's changed a bit here, so I need to go back to the previewer and just reduce this strand up a bit. So let's see the length. I'll put to 3.5. Maybe less. maybe V2. Let's do 2.8. There's a little bug that I'm seeing with the changing the numbers here. I don't know why, but I'll look into that later. Squeeze the spacing up a bit, and this one. This one looks like it needs you know, it might be a better idea to actually generate your strands and then change your UVs after the fact, because it's sometimes easier to change UVs. But if you've already done your wig or your hair, then and you don't want to change the UVs because you just want to just try and make better hairs for it, I guess you can do it this way. So let's just change this one. 3, 2. Okay, now I'll try generate. Okay, it looks to be better. I'm going to change this background tone. It's no big deal. Once you click this, it records it anyway. So I'm just going to make it darker. And then I guess I'll need to generate again. Okay, it looks like, to me, it looks like it's in, apart from here at the bottom. So I'll just change that to 3, 4. And I'll generate another time. Each time you change these, the generate is going to be a little bit different, so you have to check again. So I'll just check the color map. Also, moving this around only looks at the strands. You won't see the UV layout, so there's no point trying to control both. You just have to look. Right, so that's still not enough. So let's do 3, 2. And G will generate. I have to click out this. These should actually change the this back to this mode, so that's another fix I'll need. Okay, so this is a fairly new feature, but it looks like, yeah, it looks better. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to bring the number of strands up a bit. And even though I won't see it here, I should see it when it's generated. Let's see, so just make sure everything's in place. This one's still a little bit out, so I'm gonna have to move these across just a little bit, and then hope that I get something similar. You see this one's sitting here, but that's the difference between the previewer and the generated map. And it's just a case of checking everything this way. Right, everything looks fine. So I guess I could go ahead and produce this map, and I'll enable what I want. So I have an ID map in strand mode, depth map, mask, normal, and I guess I'll have the RGB mask. Flow I don't need. I could use the AO map and frizz. So I'll go ahead and produce those. It takes a little while depending on if you've got the AO map on. It has a lot more overhead because it does, I think it's 6 or 7 different passes to make it look nice. and number of strands as well. So let me just check everything's correct. I don't want any mishaps here. Cool, so I'm going to export these. Let's create a new folder on desktop. Again, don't save in the same folder as the program. It will send it to app data, so you'd have to search it through local app data. Let's call this set1. Let's do the date, 30th May. Okay. I'll call them all 30 May. In the project file is really just going to save the seed value, so I'm not going to bother with that. I'll just cancel that. Right, so that's everything set up and good. I can close this out, and that frees up the memory as well, and it means I can always go back into it. So one of the new fixes that I'd made is that when you go back into it, you press F11 and it gives you all your settings back, but it won't load the maps. You'll have to regenerate for that. So hopefully if I click generate, I've got everything the way it was. I'm just going to double check that. It may be slightly random. I don't know if it will load the UV image. So let me just hang off till that's generated. It should take the same amount of time. Alright, so yeah, the UV image isn't there by the looks of it. So you'd have to load that back in. Let me just load it back in and check that one. So this is some new stuff. So I'm kind of in test mode as well as demoing here. Right, so that all looks good. I go here and right click. That looks fine. Whether it's exactly the same or not remains to be seen, but otherwise that's a nice set as well. So I'll keep that there. Because I've generated, it's recorded this as the new version, so even if I close it, I should get the settings back. Yeah, I'm just curious to see if that's exactly the same. Let me just export the color map to do a compare. This would be good if it is, but no idea. Right, so that'll be color, and I'll just do check. Right, so I'm going to check those are the same and then apply them to a mesh. So I'll open new folder, wasn't this one? Alright, cool. So that seems to be good. We've got exactly the same results, and thank God for that is all I can say. That's now a new and improved hair strand designer as far as I'm concerned. So let's go over to Sketchfab. This is where I've created this wig. If you want to download it, you can do, but it comes with the pack I've got here on ArtStation, and you'll see I've got this pack. It's got the hair wig, and it's all built into Unreal and things like that. I think there's no FBX with it, so maybe I should include that in an update. But anyway, you can download this. It's got Hair Strand Designer with it, and it's all ready for Unreal. I'll add the FBX of the hair in case you want to practice on that. I've done a pretty decent job with it, making sure all the strands don't go through each other and things like that. But it's all down to the texture. So applying a new texture to a hair like this may cause issues, because things will be in slightly different places. So you could end up with this strand going through these as opposed to just sitting above here like it does here. But hair goes all over the place anyway. There's loads more flyaways in most hair. Like if you look at people's hair day by day, you'll see that. Right, so I'm just gonna import a little update to this. So I'll just go into manage the model, 3D settings, and I'm gonna go to materials and let's bring in a funky noisy specular map. So I'll choose texture. I'm going to upload actually, so manage textures. Let's go to not ninja stuff. No, I'm in the wrong folder. This one. Okay, I'm going to bring in the frizz map. I've yet to try it with this and see what the frizz map gives us. Definitely more frizzy. Look in here, you can see the little bands there, so that's interesting. Let's put that on the glossiness just to see how it looks there as well. It does help to add a bit of noise, not too bad. So let's bring in albedo. Doesn't matter which one. Right. Yep. We definitely need the opacity, so let's get the mask. This one. Okay. Alright, I'm getting somewhere. I'll just keep that up full because you can see the full extent of the specular now. Or what is that that's making it so bright? Has it got opacity emission? Let's just turn that off. So I can see already this here stops short, but I do think that goes to the side of the head. Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like applying the hair to the new hair to a different to an existing mesh and UVs can be a bit different, but this doesn't look too bad. It's just bright, it's really bright. I wonder if that's the lighting itself. Okay, let's get the normal map. Okay. And let's bring in the ambient occlusion. Choose texture. Oh, is it? Not seeing too much of an effect with that. It's quite subtle. It does look quite stylized. If there's anything else I can change, so I've got specular there, anisotropy is on. Let's bring in, I don't have the anisotropy map. I guess I could go back in knowing that the settings stay the same. Let's put it to the test. So just download, just open this back up and press F11 and get my previous setup back, and I'll generate a flow map. Let me just generate flow and color just to make sure that they're the same. Yeah, I just want to make sure that that's the same. Doesn't matter anyway. I'll just export flow. I'll change the flow mode to hue. This is like an experimental one. And hopefully it doesn't deviate too much, that's fine. So hue mode just changes the hue based in direction, and that can be quite nice for an anisotropic effect. And let's go ahead and export this one. I'll call it flow if there may. So I didn't actually export a flow map. Let me just bring it into Photoshop to make sure it's the same. So I'll open the check and flow. And they're the same, so yeah, that's another relief. That's good that the maps are staying intact. That means that when the project saving and things are done, then that's going to be safe. Right, so I'll bring in that one and see how it works for Anisotropy. Yeah, it's a bit wild. Yeah, maybe it doesn't like that kind of map, so I can easily go back in here and ask it to do a proper flow map. I'll do standard blue type one. Okay, I export just the flow map, overwrite. Okay, back into here and let's just do it the right way. Okay, that looks to be better. Looks like it's something it expects. And even though it's quite subtle, it's hard to see really what's happening, but if I bring up the metalness and things, specular, it's not looking too much like here at the minute. And it's just a shame that bit stops abruptly, but yeah, it just goes to show you can at least apply this to different hairs and everything looks kind of fine. Let's change that to color, see what I get. And some hairs are more shiny. You can also check this out in Marmoset tool bag, see how it looks. I quite like the Sketchfab one, it's easy to use. Right, so that's basically what's new. When you press F11, it's going to bring back the settings. It doesn't take any time to load because it's just all variables it's loading in. And later I'll give you the ability to save that file. All the variables and things. You left click this to load in your own UV image, UV template, so you can even load in like the AO map if you wanted, and preview it over things. So if you got the color map and you right click this, you can kind of see it over it, and that can be kind of interesting. Good way of checking everything looks right as well. Bring in any image at all, so it could be an inspirational hair reference as well, and you can try and match a certain hairstyle. Oh, there's a bug, so cancelling. Okay, yeah, I just need to check that I've done that. So it was that, I think that was cancelling. Let me just check that again. Alright, so it doesn't like being cancelled. I'll fix that right away in the next version, but that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoy watching this video. Any queries and comments, just go for it. Pop them below the video and I'll likely get to them in the near future. Thanks for watching. Bye.